Hey guys, welcome back to another Elden Ring build video. This is the Holy Samurai, a Faith cross Dexterity build. I have seen a lot of Strength and Faith builds, but not really seeing a lot of builds that use all of the great assets that Dexterity and Faith have to offer. And this build right here does a lot of great melee damage using the katanas, and then also taking advantage of a lot of incantations that really help with AoE attacks, those ranged attacks that you don't have from melee. As you can see here, we are really gold, looking very cool to give that Faith kind of vibe as well. And this build utilizes the Naga Kebas, and I've got both Naga Kebas here, both with keen scaling to get that A Dexterity scaling. And I'm also using Erdtree Seal here as my primary weapons. This has got an S scaling in Faith, and this is where my build really takes over. You can see here I'm going with 50 Vigor, 30 Mind, 30 Endurance, 25 Strength, 68 Dexterity, 15 Intelligence, 60 Faith, and then 10 Arcane. Of course, if you wanted to run this as a level 150 build, you could drop Mind a lot because of the new buffs with 1.04, drop Endurance a little bit as well, drop Strength to the base cap that you need for the Naga Keba of 18, and then you could drop some Dexterity or Faith. It'd be completely up to you. Intelligence, Arcane, you could drop all of those. It'd be complete preference. However, for this build, if you're looking at making a level 200 build, you're on the way to an absolutely amazing build. I'm using, as I said here, the Naga Kebas. Armor set is completely up to you. I'm going with the Okina Mask, the Leendale Knight Armor, going with the Royal Knight Gauntlets, as well as the Tree Sentinel Greaves to give me that cool gold look. And then to get the most out of my build, I've got these talismans right here. I'm using the Rotten Wing Sword Insignia, and this greatly raises attack power with successive attacks. I'm using this because I've got these two katanas, power stancing them. They get this amazing moveset that really builds up that bleed damage, getting those successive attacks in to boost that damage even further. I'm using the Radagon Sword Seal here, which gives us a few of those extra points that you need to get up to level 50 with Vigor. It helps with Endurance, it helps with Strength. It's a fantastic Sword Seal that you can use. Shard of Alexander, which boosts up the power of skills, which is really important for this, and I'll get into that in a minute why. And then the Carrion Filigree Crest here, which helps lower the FP of all consumed skills. And this is a build that really relies on Unsheath, and Unsheath is an absolutely amazing ability. You've probably seen this with the Moonveil Katana, where you get that sheathed katana and then that really amazing vertical slash or that horizontal slash, depending if you go with a right trigger or a right bumper. And this can do a lot of damage. Of course, you don't get that big flick that you get with the Moonveil. However, this causes a lot of stagger damage, and you can see already this is just one hitting these guys. It's doing a lot of damage, 1,894, and that is because of the huge boost that you get by having Shard of Alexander. So to get into the next part of our build, to really buff this up so that it is extremely viable and it just chops through everything, does heaps of damage, is a lot of the incantations that we can use, and also using the Wondrous Physic here to help boost our damage even further. For the Physic, I'm using the Dexterity Not Crystal tier as well as the Holy Shroud and Crack tier. This boosts both Dexterity and Faith, basically. It helps out with our incantations. So to get into how we're going to really boost our weapons up here, you can see we're doing 565 and then 519. I don't have this quite leveled up to 25 yet. Using Seppuku on here as well, just experimenting with other things, but you could use whatever Ash of War you wanted as long as you've got that keen scaling to get A for Dexterity. But you can see 565. Now with the incantations for this build, you're really buffing your right hand sword, and your left hand sword is just there for that move set to help proc those bleeds to get that extra damage. So I'm going with Order's Blade, and Order's Blade boosts up the holy damage of your sword. Also going with Golden Vow, popping that Physic, and then Flame Grant me Strength, which really helps with physical damage. And you can see now we are over 1,092 AR right there just with the one sword, plus you've got that 753 damage over there on your left sword, 753 right there. And you can see now this is going to start just cutting through everything, doing a lot of great damage. You get this amazing jump attack that hits so hard. Again, this is such a quick build, being that samurai build. and you do a lot of fantastic damage. Now, with all of this happening as well, this is not including Unsheath, which I talked about before as being your big hitter, your chunky damage, being able to absolutely melt through bosses, cause that poise, that stagger damage. So again, if we go through that same buffing situation where you go Order's Blade, Golden Vow, Pump Your Physic, Flame Grant Me Strength. You saw before it was doing about 1,800. This is going to really hit super hard using this. And again, you're getting that lower FP consumption because of your talisman, and it really does an amazing amount of damage. And especially now that you start proccing up more successive hits, you're going to boost that damage even further, and you just end up doing so much damage with this. And again, this is just that one aspect of the build. Because you are a holy samurai, you also have those incantations as well, and these get buffed further, but just for the sake of time for this video, Malekith's Black Blade is absolutely amazing as an entrance. You get that wind up, do that huge damage, and you also lower bosses' health, as you can see there with that health bar, and it's really fantastic. And then also the Lightning Spear, Fortisak's Lightning Spear got a big buff. It's got so much more poise. And this again is good for that crowd control. And then our last one is Black Flame Ritual, and because this is such a melee focused heavy build, this puts up that wall of fire, and anything gets that little stagger. It also lowers the health of enemies, and it really just helps out with some of these chunky enemies. You can see there, that would have been certain death, but being able to, stagger these enemies up, it really makes such a big difference. So a lot of versatility in this build. The other great aspect of this build too is you can use other weapons like the Halo Scythe, and the Halo Scythe is also amazing for power stancing, and it's of course got this incredible Ash of War, the Ring of Light, that does a absurd amount of damage just in itself. This also procs bleed, it's also really good for successive attacks, and it's also got an amazing jumping attack. So this works really well as well. It gives that samurai vibe also with its fantastic look. It just looks so cool. But this is such a great build, the Holy Samurai. Give it a go. Let me know what you think. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. And if you did find this video interesting or helpful at all, please leave a like and subscribe. Thanks so much.